What's good? We're here. I'm excited. We are in the new, I guess you could call it the office, my home office. Shout out to my wife, Lydia, for putting this all together. As y'all can see to my right, okay. She put together this, the book. I ordered this bookshelf, put it together for me. Y'all can see all of the things. Got a lot of books up here. Shout out to Rome. Need to get a picture of my wife up here, matter of fact. Y'all see that? So, marriage picture. Might just need to sneak that on there somewhere. Right there. Okay, so, got some books up here, journals, picture of Roe, GSA football. I don't know if YouTube, I don't know if y'all can see this over here. I'm not sure, but if you can, this is a ball that Chris Ballard sent, GM from the Colts after they drafted Jordan. So I thought that was pretty cool. Got a few trading cards, first trading card, shout out Jordan as well. Wouldn't be here without him. Got some trading cards. So we're in here, man. We got some lights. Hopefully the visuals are better. I told myself it's time on the podcast. Haven't put out an episode in a while, and this is one of the reasons why. I told myself it's time to, take the podcast to the next level. It's time to really just start diving in deeper in all aspects, whether it's financially, literate, relationship-wise, spiritually, anything, everything, all sorts of ways. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, man, we're here. I'm just excited, like I said. I don't even know where to start. Well, it's Tuesday, so I guess we'll get it rocking and rolling. And I do believe, so I'm gonna drop this on my personal YouTube. I've been kind of going back and forth. If y'all hear any crying in the background, that's Roman, he's fine. Dang, see, I go on my little rambles too where I forget. But yeah, I think I'm gonna put this on my personal page on YouTube. Want to start growing that. I know I've been, like I said, going back and forth with having content on the Agent Talk YouTube or my own. I think I'm just gonna all funnel it out of my own. Maybe, roll with the Agent Talk podcast again on a separate YouTube page. But I think for now, especially with draft season coming up, there's a lot of content that, I guess, in quotes, Agent Grady wants to put out. And I think it'll just be easier to have everything in one place. So I'll probably just get up all of our old interviews that we've done, get those on here on this page, any of the old episodes that are meaningful, and a lot of them I can repeat on the Stock Tip Tuesdays. But I'll probably just get all that content over here. So if you are following us on the Agent Talk channel and you're not subscribed on this channel, subscribe here, and we'll get it rocking and rolling. So with that being said, Stock Tip Tuesday, okay, and I want to make sure to move the mic away from my mouth, make sure I'm not too loud. But company that we're talking on today, haven't put out a Stock Tip Tuesday in a while. I guess even before I get into that, where am I at when it comes to my financials? And even before that, man, shout out to all of you that, watch on the podcast, listen on the Apple or Spotify, that tune in on the YouTube or Instagram. I appreciate the support. It's very interesting. I tell people all the time, as I go through this Agent Academy, for example, you go through the Agent Academy and I tell our students, if there is one thing that you can do right now to start bringing value to the world and show yourself as an expert, is to start a podcast. We're talking about my good friend Nate Gonzalez. Nate is someone, you also subscribe to him, listen to his podcast, if nothing else, check it out. Shout out Nate, very wise. He's been very meticulous with starting his podcast. It's been months of preparation trying to get it right. And just saying, for him, talking to him, it's been, 2-3 weeks. And he's just saying how it's one of the favorite things that he has in his day now when he's recording episodes. And so if you're someone that you've been dragging your feet on potentially starting a podcast or a YouTube channel, something of that sort, blog, a journal, it doesn't always have to be visual, then, what are you waiting for? What are you waiting for? So we're here, and I don't even know how I got onto that topic. Hopefully I tied some little strings on that. But regardless, I was gonna say, so here we are with my portfolio and everything that I'm doing. So I recently moved a good amount of my funds out of Robinhood. I put out an episode, I believe, I'm not sure, I know I talked about it on social, but I'm not sure if I actually put it on the podcast, where after Robinhood and what they were doing, actually it is on the podcast, everything they were doing with, GameStop and kind of just some shady stuff, I told myself, I'm taking some of my money off of this platform just because, it wasn't good. It wasn't good business that they were doing for the people, for the public. And so been moving actually in regards to that as well, just with Roman now almost being a year, really trying to move more towards, and I always preach on it, but even further into the long-term perspective. So move some of my short-term funds into my Roth IRA, trying to really maximize that opportunity, while I'm 28, of this age, and just try to build in that regard. And with that being said, is even some of my shorter-term companies, or I don't even know if I haven't put out episodes on stock tip in a minute. So everything that transpired, last 2-3 weeks, when the market dove, a lot of these stocks really down, 20, 30, 40% in a matter of really, 7 to 10 days. This was maybe 2 weeks ago for like I said, a period of week and a half. And so when this was transpiring, I lost like 35% of my portfolio, my short-term portfolio, like I said, in a week, really. Just some correction that kind of it sneaks up on you, something that happens, something that you're not always prepared for. And so when that happened, I said, okay, I really want to make sure that I'm doing everything needed to just ensure our long-term outlook. And so like I said, just really encouraged me to move our funds over to my long-term holdings, but also companies that I was able to now, when everyone's down, okay? So this is something I think to talk on. As an investor, I think this is a lesson that I've learned, is when everything is down, so everything, the whole market's down, getting crushed, okay? And we've talked about it, when certain companies are down and you believe in them, we have to look at it as if said company is on sale, okay? It's on sale. So if X company was at $200 and you believe in it for the next 20 years, and then it drops to $150, it's on sale, essentially. That's how, I think you should look at it. And so a wide variety of companies that I was invested in, I deemed as on sale that I really liked, such as, and I'll just rattle off a few. I still think Peloton is at a prime price right now. The CEO, I want to say the CEO came out with a statement last week basically saying he thinks they have room to grow 100-fold, okay? I don't know how realistic that is. I think 10-fold is possible though. Peloton, I don't have my chart up here, but maybe around the 110s. I think Peloton one day could be $1,000 stock. I don't see any reason why not. Lydia loves it. It's been a year and she still rides it. She still enjoys it. Even with everything opening up, she's not pressed to go to the gym, you know what I'm saying? The technology behind it, they just recently did a collaboration with Adidas. And so, yeah, I think Peloton's a no-brainer. One that you set it, you forget it, you leave it in, you give it to your kids. So there's one, put some more funds into Peloton recently. I'm trying to see any other in the Neo. Of course, I bought more in the 30s. Long-term outlook, very bright for Neo. Don't need to talk too much about the EV market. Done that enough on the podcast. But yeah, a few of the EV companies I reloaded into CCIV for sure. Blink, ChargePoint. So just reiterating a few of these companies that I just, got a little bit more into the marijuana market again. One thing I will say, so there's an index fund. I don't think I taught on this. I think it's MSOS. I could be wrong. But basically just Google Cannabis Index is one of the marijuana indexes that covers what's going on in the U.S. market. So it's something to tap into. When you look at some of the cannabis companies that are popular, CGC, and just to name one out of a few, those are Canadian based, and I definitely want to ensure that I'm being exposed to the US-based cannabis market. So there's that. Trying to see, got into what else? Redfin. So I don't think I've talked on Redfin. Got into Redfin. Probably do an episode maybe on there later on. Just trying to expose myself a bit more to the digital real estate market. So there's that. In particular, there is a company that I did want to speak on today, AirBnb. Okay, so recently bought a few shares of Airbnb. When Airbnb IPO, I don't, like I said, I don't have the chart on here. Let's see, Airbnb chart. Okay, so when Airbnb IPO, and someone actually asked me this, so this is some just good knowledge to know. So IPO, initial public offering, okay, so when it's initially available to the public, okay, so when it's coming officially on the stock market, available for the public to buy shares, that's the, you know, the IPO right here. Okay, so that was just someone had asked me, just Google initial public offering, okay, if you want to know what an IPO is. And so it officially came onto the stock market to where Joshua Grady can buy on, I believe, December 10th, 2020. That's when like the normal person could buy, okay? The company's been around since 2008, okay? So that's something to keep in mind when we're looking at these charts. This chart does not match the company always, okay? And that's something that we have to understand. When we're investing, we're not investing into the chart. We're investing into the company, okay? Just something you have to understand that that's a common error that a lot of people make. And that's why when some of these companies go down, that's why they sell, because they're looking at the chart, not the company, realizing that the company is still functional. A common belief system that Warren Buffett always preaches is, you know, if you like such and such company at $200, like I mentioned earlier, such and such company at $200, and they dropped, you have to ask yourself, you know, did the business model change? Did their functionality change? Did leadership change? Did consumerism change? Did something in the economy or the atmosphere change? And if not, why would you sell? It doesn't make sense. And so that's just something, you know, to understand. Really should buy more because it's on sale. Airbnb IPO December 144. It has some volatility, but overall, you know, it's been a solid investment for those that got an IPO. Peaked around February at 216, and then kind of when, you know, some of the downgrade happened, or some of the retracement happened with some of these companies, it got down to 180s, I believe, 180-ish. And right now, it's now March, so it's been only 4 months since IPO, so still relatively new. And it's March now, and it's at 191. So, you know, roughly $50 on a share basis, the IPO. To me, I personally think that Airbnb is a buy. Like I said, it's already been to, you know, 216. It's at 191 right now, so, you know, $30 off. I think it could potentially go down more in the short term. I'm not sure, but I do think in the long term, you know what I'm saying, it's a no-brainer. I myself, as someone that travels for work quite often, Airbnb is, you know, you couldn't ask for better. You couldn't ask for a better service to utilize. Now the fees, they're gonna get you, okay? As a consumer, like the fees, they're gonna hit you on the head. So it's just something to be aware of. But when you just look at the business model itself, to go to essentially anywhere in the world and to know that there are multiple options that are at competitive rates, that rates are honestly tend to be better than most hotels and these resorts, things of that nature. You're getting more bang for your buck. You know that you're working with a specific individual as a part. That's something that we're big on, at least in our home, is working with, you know, locals, working with those that, you know, are running their own business. A lot of these people are entrepreneurs or small business owners like myself, who are just trying to, you know, utilize their resources as opposed to investing into, you know, this giant corporation. Let's say it's not Airbnb, obviously is the giant corporation in this regard, which that's what we're investing in. But if you're gonna be spending your money, you know, giving someone your money, being a consumer, I'd rather that money go into the pockets of some of the, in quotes, little people, I would say. So there is that, you know, for me, anytime I go anywhere, I went to Pittsburgh, Airbnb. I'm going to Houston later this month, Airbnb. I go anywhere, Airbnb. You know, it's constant, that's what it is. We went to Maui, we were in Airbnb, you know what I'm saying? There are resorts that was gonna charge us like $3,000 while we were there. And we paid, I think $1,400 Airbnb, you know what I'm saying? And you got direct access to anything you need. You know, the space is just, there's a no-brainer for me. I was just kind of looking into, and then not just doing short-term rentals. Airbnb is really trying to expand into the monthly rental option as well as the yearly. So when you look at, again, you know, for our guys that are going to train, for example, that are going to Jason and Grant being in Dallas to train, that we had to get them apartments for Airbnb to be able to offer the option at a continued discount rate on a 3-month rental, let's say, then that's the no-brainer again. And so as a consumer, like I said, it just, when you look at the other options, the hotels, the resorts, the this or that, the apartments, whatever it could be, I just think that Airbnb from a consumer side makes sense. I think from someone that works under Airbnb, I think that makes sense. That's something, Lord willing, if we're able to get to a point where we can have our own rental properties and have something like this where, you got 52 weekends, maybe for 26 of them, you're able to have a side rental property and have people in there Airbnb on the weekends for bachelorette parties or for Music City Classics, concerts, whatever it could be. Just bringing in that passive income, you know what I'm saying? Even to the point where, say we move away from Nashville, you still have that rental property, or we still have that rental property, maybe even hire someone that lives here X amount of dollars per month just to be the one kind of running point here in Nashville if something goes awry, whatever it could be. And so from someone that could potentially and wants to one day look at utilizing rental properties, I think it's a no-brainer from that aspect as well. And so from the investor side, when both of those are check marks, you know what I'm saying? You just look at the business model itself. Does it make sense? Does it make sense to invest in an Airbnb? What's the future looking like? And just all of the factors that I mentioned earlier that you want to take into consideration. I think that Airbnb it's here to stay. It's really been a breakthrough technology. The platform that they have, the interface, the customer service, all of it is very simple, very seamless, very efficient, effective. It really makes me think of a Netflix. When compared to a Blockbuster, it makes me think of an Uber compared to taxis. It's now Airbnb versus the hotels, and I think just the technology itself, the independence of it. I think it's very beneficial as well as very appealing. And like I said, to me, I think they have good ownership. Shout out to Brian Chesky. Don't know too much about Brian. Let's read a little bit. Let's see. CEO Brian Joseph Chesky is an American billionaire businessman and industrial designer. He's a co-founder and CEO of the peer-to-peer lodging service Airbnb. Chesky was named one of Time's 100 most influential people of 2015. Okay, net worth 14.9 billion. Okay, Brian, you watch this message where I'm trying to work. Okay, GSA, now we could use a sponsorship. Okay, have all our guys at Airbnb get a discounted rate, you know what I'm saying? But we're consistently giving y'all business. Talk to me, Brian. Okay, so like I said, Airbnb, no brainer. I'm trying to think if there's any other ones that really stood out to me or has been. Let me see if I can. So I'll log in. And by the way, like moving forward, if people on here, like y'all got questions or whatever it might be that I can start covering in the podcast, you know what I'm saying? Shoot them to me. So put them in the comments, shoot me a DM, follow me on Insta, so at @agentgrady_ or at Agent Talk Podcast on Instagram. But hit me anytime, if y'all have anything, any questions, comments, things of that nature. I just want to make sure that I'm able to be of service. Let me see. I'm going to see if I can pull up my own portfolio real quick. And I'll round it off. So, for y'all. Okay, swap. 143. 08. Okay. All right, let's see. So these are some companies, and something I will get into is I also rearranged into some index funds. I don't know if we talked too much on index funds, but let's see. Let's look at our positions. Okay, so right now, this is what I'm holding. So fullest transparency, what I'm holding. Okay, so we got NEO, Tesla, DraftKings. Ooh, I have not talked on DraftKings. I'll probably have to put out an episode of DraftKings. DraftKings, no brainer. DraftKings, in regards to just sports in general, sports betting, gambling, that makes me think of another Penn Gaming, PENN. I'm not necessarily someone that sports bets anymore myself. I have in the past. It was sinful for me and just couldn't be a part of it. However, I do think that sports gambling itself is it's a no-brainer. That even leads me into some digital, the digital gaming, the e-gaming, or whatever the official name is. Like, yeah, no-brainer. So let's see, Peloton's on here, NVIDIA, Volkswagen. Okay, have not talked on Volkswagen. Shout out to my wife. My wife has a Volkswagen. She has a Jetta. Volkswagen, there's an article I was seeing that it said by 2025, they believe that the top two leaders in the EV market, Tesla and Volkswagen. Okay, Tesla and Volkswagen. I'm tuned in on Volkswagen. I'm in. I got me a good amount of shares. I'm in there. Okay, safe investment. I consider it with some upside to capitalize. Not everybody wants to have exposure to a NEO, some of these Chinese car companies, even a Tesla, whatever it could be. Okay, Volkswagen, what you gotta say about that? And they're getting to the EV market heavy. That's a big push for them. I'm in there. Okay, what else we got? there's Apple, Square. I'm big into Square right now with e-commerce. I think that's a big sector to look into. So e-commerce, check that out. Let me see. Pinterest. I'm not gonna list all of these. Boeing has been solid, man. I've been holding Boeing now. I bought Boeing at 147. This was back peak pandemic. And for Boeing, it's at 243 right now. And that just goes to show tangibly that $147 that I had could have been spent. It could be in a bank account, not doing anything. But now it's valued at 243. So, what I'm saying? It's more than what it was. And most people's money, if it's just sitting in a bank account, is not doing nothing. Okay, so just something tangible. Trying to see. CrowdStrike is one. Shout out to Jeff. Recently sent me some information on CrowdStrike. I'm in CrowdStrike. Cybersecurity, I think, is big. So just research some cybersecurity stocks. You know what I'm saying? One thing I talk on a lot here is looking at the world. What is the direction that the world is going? Okay, everything's going cyber, it's going digital. So I want to capitalize on these trends. With the world also opening up more, perhaps there are some companies that maybe you want to tap into that could benefit. I would say Disney, not only because of that, because I guess especially in Florida where people are not caring about COVID. However, with Disney Plus, what they've been doing with the Marvel series, the WandaVision, Captain, with Falcon and Bucky, Winter Soldier, they're having a lot of success with Disney Plus. They believe that their subscribers, especially the growth rate, is definitely going to top Netflix, no question. And so I'm tapped in. I'm trying to see what else we got. I recently got into Walmart. Still believer in Uber, Starbucks. Starbucks was a recent addition into the long-term holding for me. So there's just a few there. The last thing I was gonna say today though is also what I have been doing is really trying to expose myself more with these index funds. So these index funds are basically, these holdings where you have these companies kind of like S&P 500 that we talked about as an index fund, but where you have these different specific ones that tap into specific niches in society, okay? So for instance, the one I talked about, MSOS, is an index fund that has, I don't know the amount, let's say it's 40 of different cannabis companies around the world. So instead of investing in one cannabis company and hoping that's the one that wins, you're able to invest in an index fund to give yourself a much safer play, less upside. But if you believe in, like I said, a specific industry, a specific sector, then I do believe that the index funds could be something for anyone to consider that really wants to bank on a few, like I said, different sectors they believe in without having as much risk involved. So a few that I've recently tapped into, I'm in all of ARK. So if you know who Kathy Wood is, maybe you don't, I'll probably put an episode out on ARK one day, but I'm in all of ARKs. I'm in MJ, so that's cannabis as well. So Drive, I've talked about Drive before, that's electric vehicles. Hero, shout out Fred Taylor. If you watch the I Am Athlete podcast, Fred actually mentioned Hero on an episode. Hero is a gaming video games, okay? So I'm a big believer in the future, like I said, the e-gaming and the sport of gaming, you know what I'm saying? So I think that for sure. Bug, B-U-G, that's cybersecurity. So I think these are all iShares, I want to say. Regardless, let's see what else we got. Talk about Drive, SOCL, social. These are global funds, excuse me. So social media, if you want to invest in social media, you know what I'm saying? Like if you want to invest in the Facebook, the Snapchat, the Instagram, the SYZ, who is owned by Facebook, but yeah, no brainer. I'm trying to see what else is notable. I would say, let me give y'all one more. BOTZ, bots, robotics. I do believe robotics, artificial intelligence is the future. And I'm just trying to be ahead of the game, man. That's why I'm investing in some of these companies. And, it's just a matter of getting into it. I'm a believer in, operating with prudence. Let's see if we can just make wise decisions out here. And that's really all I got, man. I'm excited to get back on the podcast. Hopefully the visuals, shout out to my wife again. She's amazing. Hopefully the visuals are, up to par. And, I'm excited to just continue to, give some fruit out here. Very blessed, very thankful. And if y'all got anything, just hit me. Really want to get the podcast rolling. If you receive any fruit from this, share it with a friend. Share it with somebody. I appreciate the love. I appreciate the support. If y'all need some, hit me. Johnson Grady here. We out.